This is Lesson Podcast number 10 for the year 2021 because we started counting in 2021 because that's how my brain works. Suffice to say that it doesn't, but we just go with that. Hi everybody, and as always, we're going to have a lot of news for you from our favorite sources, mostly Kotaku and PC Gamer, for some other places around the web. And also, we're going to be talking about, we kind of talked about this before, but I feel it deserves a revisit. Can we have more offline games? Can we put every single player game have a clear offline mode, or just be offline, period? Just offline, and you only have to update, if it's a patch or something like that, you can download the patch and the patch would work automatically and execute and fix your game or whatever, right? Because to be honest, while I'm enjoying the game I'm playing right now, Skyrim, because I always go back to Skyrim, online, there's just time and time again with the news that we see, it comes back to, yeah, this is dumb. A lot of
Yeah.
dumb stuff happens. So, problems and services, stuff like that. So, but let's start with a rather happy news sort of thing that I want to talk about. And I need to get a Switch. I really do. Uh, this is from Otaku today at 11:15 a.m. Pacific, I think. So, adjust your clocks accordingly. Here's Zero to Hero from Hercules recreated in Animal Crossing. Those crafting talented Animal Crossing New Horizons players are at it again. This time, someone spent 2 months recreating the Zero to Hero song featured in Disney animated Hercules film from 1997. This impressive feat of editing and creativity, when I finally learned how to read and enunciate, was made by Reddit user Melhunibi. According to Reddit comment left by the user, this recreation took about 2 months to put together. They filmed most of the scenes on the Harv's Island using green backgrounds. Then they digitally hand painted backgrounds and merged the shots with the art, editing the whole thing to match the song timing. As someone who's a big fan of Hercules and who really loves the song, in particular, I was surprised just how accurate this recreation is and how I got to listen to Zero Hero again, which is always a good thing in my book. I mean, this is the stuff that I really like about going beyond games, because this is not playing a game. This is game design and game manipulation, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty good, right? And I wish more companies would embrace that, especially Nintendo, right? Because they could get some awesome talent if they did that. Talk about Nintendo, the Nintendos, um, those Nintendos. Uh, and this has become part of a trend of, hey, millennials, you're getting old, which makes everyone else goes like, yeah, we noticed. Nintendo Alternate from Volkswagen yesterday over Kotaku. Nintendo 3DS was released 10 years ago today in North America. On
It's
March 27th,
really been 10 years. I can't
yep,
believe it.
yeah, on March 27, 2011, Nintendo released the 3DS, its handheld successor to the uber successful Nintendo DS. Since it has sold over 70 million units worldwide, has hosted great games released to it over the last decade. I was looking up to get that. So yeah, so people who want to feel old in the land of Nintendo. So there's that. And there's some examples in the link of the games that you can play on the 3DS. If I think you mentioned something about the store closing. There's rumors that they will be closing these stores and now supporting the old stuff.
Yes. There's rumors that PlayStation, Sony is planning on shutting down all support for the storefronts for the Vita and the PS3. They've shut down the PSP store for quite a while. Like I believe the storefront for the PSP has been shut down for quite a while because I believe we reported it on a couple of years back that there was a retro style game that actually launched a PSP version officially on on the PlayStation Store. Except that in order to get it to your your PSP, you have to download it via your PC through the browser and then upload it into your save stick, because the store doesn't exist anymore on the PSP. These are just rumors for now, but it seems to be coming from credible sources. People are pretty much already treating this as, yeah, they're definitely gonna do this. Let's see. Wait, it says PSP video like stores, which I thought they were already closed. Well, at least that's what this article says.
Yeah.
Just say a report from The Gamer.
That guy. Yeah. The Gamer.
Yeah, verified by The Gamer. Who, I don't know who the hell this is. Is it like the website? No,
I
it's
think
the
it's a web.
website, The Gamer.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But it's like, it sounds like, yeah, that guy over there, the gamer, he told us that, yeah, this is happening. It's like, okay,
Wait,
cool, man.
oh, that's weird. The PSP and the PS3 stores will be closed on July 2nd, and the PSP or the PlayStation Vita will be after August 27th. After those days, you'll no longer be able to purchase games or DLC from any of the consoles above. So, that's it. So if you've been planning on buying anything, I honestly would wait until we get official word from Sony. But if you're planning on buying any legacy software that is only on PlayStation, you should probably do it now. And for those consoles, you should probably do it now, or at least as soon as they release word of it. There's a couple of games, and this is what I hate too. They're used when they released the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation Store on the browser they added like a wish list feature, so you can add games to a wish list. Granted, you can't actually look at this wish list on your PlayStation 4, but you can only look at it through the browser. But at least that sort of help me kind of keep organized. Like, oh yeah, I wanted this game. Especially when there's sales, I would go through my wish list like every week, and it's like, oh, let's see if any of these games I want are on sale, like at a reasonable price. I might like pick it up now. And I believe if you had your settings, you could watch. You can have make your wish list shareable with your friends, because there was I think only one person out of my entire friends list had a wish list and had it accessible.
I'm surprised that Sony, who has a penchant for releasing like Sony exclusive media, they haven't released, or maybe they have, but it hasn't become very popular, like USB sticks or something like that has a code on it, so it can be replicated, so that when things like this happen, you can download your game to that media and you have a copy, right? And you don't get caught off. But then again, if that happens, then people wouldn't be interested in playing backwards compatibility. They kept the old machines, or the remastered, remade Kiwami version, or whatever they're doing. Right?
Yeah. So the problem too is that if this is true, of course, this is just a rumor. There is an official word. What does this mean for all software you've already purchased? Do you still have access to it? Or is there a way for you to download it? Because you also, before, you could manage your the software that you own on the website and kind of tell it to force download onto your devices, for whatever device it was for. I don't know. I assume there has to be a way to where you can purchase your software, or you can download your software again, because there's a couple of problems with that. The PlayStation 4, for those who don't own one, like if you go under games, it'll show you a list of everything you've purchased, so you can download it that way without actually interfacing with the store. None of the other PlayStation software has that. All the other console devices. So that's a problem right there. So will you be able to sort through a list of stuff? And granted, I've done that before. I know the store has a list of downloadable, like, here's all your downloadable softwares. But someone like me, who's been a PlayStation Plus member for years and years and years, I've played every single thing that was given out for free. That list is massively extensive, and every single thing that you buy, like whether it's just this tiny free DLC that you had to purchase, it
Hmm.
is listed there. There's no absolutely no way for you to sort this. And heaven forbid that the browser has or the store interface has trouble loading and it crashes and you have to restart you have to kind of reload the list and start back at the very top. So like one of the first things I've ever purchased was like the Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty. Let's say if I wanted to replay that, there isn't a fifth there. Yeah, that's actually the title of it. The let's say that I wanted to re-download on my PlayStation 3. Well, I would have to surf through the top of the list of the most thing I've recently purchased all the way down to 2013 or whatever. It's ridiculous. So I don't know what their solution is going to be for that. If this is all true, it also might be a big push to try to get people to get that PlayStation Now subscription because it supposedly has all the legacy software on it. I'm not entirely sure if it has every single PS3 game ever made or if there's any titles listing. I've never looked into it because I've honestly have never had any interest because I'm more of a I have the hardware here. I'd rather get the software and play it officially on the actual hardware in my living room,
Yeah.
which sort of I guess goes into the topic today. But I don't know. This again, it goes into the thing that we keep talking about: digital copies. Like,
Hmm.
what do we do with them? What happens if the store closes, or we lose access to it?
Yeah.
Uh,
So we continue with Kotaku News. For those who are fans of the Guacamelee game, there's a new game from them. This is from Ari noticed last Friday. Nobody Saves the World is a new action RPG from the Guacamelee devs. Drinkbox Studios, the makers of popular brawler Guacamelee, have a new game on the way. I should check Guacamelee out just because I've never played it.
it
Uh,
was fun. I played the first one.
yeah,
It was
it's
fun if you like I guess it's a Metroid game.
Metrovania type game. Yeah. An action role-playing game called Nobody Saves the World. Nobody Saves the World. The world is questions needs saving from a doomsday event called the Calamity. Well, sounds very much very doomy. The same as the name and purpose, destroy everything with a calamity from Supergiant's Bastion. This one, less of a faceless form of all-consuming construction, more of an invading army of monsters. Nice and simple. Your cast a character named Nobody. Nobody saves the world. Yeah, no. Well, I guess somebody read the Iliad and the Odyssey. Uh, get it? Who stumbles upon a magical wand allowing you to change into various unlockable forms. You want to be a ranger, you can do that. At bodybuild that too. How about a horse? Yep. From a top-down perspective, you explore an
Oh,
overall and tackle procedural generate dungeons. Rankbox says the game won't have any grinding. Instead, you'll unlock forms, abilities, progression, and the like by completing quests. Those quests can range from break stuff or become a rat to the very presumptuous cheer up a fellow rabbit lover. And personally,
oh,
more endeared by hairs. Uh, Nobody Saves the World will be out later this year, Xbox console and PC, available on Game Pass across both platforms from day one.
oh,
Uh,
this looks cute. Uh, I instantly see like a horse shooting off a cross or a bow. Like,
mhm.
what's going on there?
That sounds interesting. I would give it a try.
The art style looks cute too.
Yeah. And in the land of multiplayer, we go to Kotaku Osaka Horizon yesterday. Outriders will permanently mark players who cheat.
Oh,
Outriders released in less than a week, and if you were planning on cheating, be warned you'll be forever branded a dirty cheater and won't be able to play the rule following players via matchmaking. In a pre-release blog post on Steam, Outriders developer People Can Fly laid out a bunch of information about things like preloading, post-launch support, changes made to the game since the demo, and more. One section was dedicated to cheaters, and it seems People Can Fly are serious about cheaters. Well, People Can Fly is a developer from Poland. What's interesting about this is that Outriders is strictly a co-op and solo online shooter. There's no PvP or competitive aspect to the game. Wait a minute. According to this, only about 0.01% of the demo players cheated, but to be clear, the studio sees you all of you. Even a single out one cheater who can sell 600 ill-gotten legendary weapons. That's impressive. Contact me if you are reading this. I have questions. If you decided to cheat, you won't be banned, but you'll be punished in some other ways. For starters, cheaters will be kept separate from legit players doing matchmaking. People can fly once. It will probably lead to longer wait times. Also, small, discreet, but easy to sport mark will be added to your HUD. So if you're, say, a popular streamer, everyone will be able to see you cheated. They also had to consider cheating. Here's the list. Intentionally running the game on PC without easy anti-cheat. Modifying game files to enhance character levels, skills, and inventory. Externally modifying game time to reduce time-dependent features such as vendors and challenges. Using a trainer program similar to gain advantages within the game. Using gameplay alternating programs such as aimbots or wall hacks. If you cheated during the demo, People Can Fly is giving you a chance to repent and wash your hands of sins before starting the full game, which is let players bring over their demo characters and gear. You'll need to delete all characters items of your entire account, a full wipe. Do that, and your account won't be branded a cheater. People Can Fly also like farming for loot isn't cheating, so feel free to go out and look for Outriders loot cave equivalent. And to be clear, cheating won't get you banned. So if you only want to play solo with your friends who also cheat, you can still do that. You'll be branded cheater, but you won't probably don't care anyway.
So this sort of goes back to your topic about playing games offline. So yeah, I looked at Outriders. It looks interesting. I dig the world. I almost feel like this is like a rewrite of Mass Effect Andromeda if it was just set on one planet. But that's something I was kind of like about is the fact that it is a drop in, drop out multiplayer game, but it's kind of like I'm always kind of iffy about games that are kind of like mandatory multiplayer. It doesn't seem like it is going to be, but you'll probably have a harder time playing by yourself. Is what it looks like. It was pretty fun. The power's a little weird, but the story's kind of intrigued me a bit. I don't know. So turning off your anti-cheat. So I've had to do that with some of my software because it won't be picked up by OBS or something. At least I think in the OBS settings, I've had to uncheck the box for anti-cheat stuff because it's I see nothing on my screen.
Yeah, and anti-cheat software has also damaged, not basically broken games, not necessarily damaged computers that I know of. I'm not going to make that assertion. But yeah, it has certainly made it impossible for some people to play. And of course, if the anti-cheat software mistakenly tags you, which happens all the time, then you'll be branded a cheater. But the thing is, well, I'm going to leave this aside for the end because, yeah, let's get on with the news because just makes me feel. Animal Crossing Sanrio Amiibo cards sell out immediately, makes everyone sad, by Mike Fahey. Target exclusive 6-pack of Animal Crossing New Horizons Sanrio Amiibo cards went on sale this morning at 9 a.m. and sold out almost immediately. Moments later, the $6 pack started showing up on eBay for upwards of $100.
Oh boy.
Yes, it sold out because the scalpers got to it. Is anyone surprised?
Nope.
I want to be surprised. I really, really. Game industry, surprise me. Please. Please. Despite Target restricting online orders to store pickup and limiting sales to 2 per customer, usually nonsense happened. Customers put packs in their online carts only to be told they were no longer in stock when they went to check out. Some Twitter users reported successful purchases made after many minutes of refreshing. Many successful buyers turned around and immediately put their purchases packs up for sale at a huge markup. The offer made many people very sad. There's good news, however. The cards, each of which unlock new Hello Kitty themed villagers and items in Animal Crossing New Horizons, are actually reprints of cards released in 2016. That means that the bootleg Amiibo cards market on websites like Etsy are filled with, we'll call them DIYers, do your own, I suppose, who will sell working yourself. Tokens that unlock the same content for low prices. Anticipating the morning's cluster fudge, I put in an order a few weeks back and got a nice little set that works just fine. It even came with bonus stickers. Expect Nintendo to hammer Etsy. like a hurricane. Yeah, because I'm not surprised. Other than that, Games is currently selling the Action Replay Power Saves of device capable of writing amiibo data to MVC tags, which are for only $15. I ordered one of those in the morning, and we'll just try it out. And I mean, it can be bad if they're selling this thing at GameStop, right? We'll
Yeah.
talk about GameStop in a moment. Don't worry about it. Yeah, scalpers ruin everything because, of course. On some happy news, Hades wins Best Game at 2021 BAFTA Game Awards. But I noticed on last Thursday on Kotaku. They should proceed like Best Indie Game of the 2020 awards. Okay, let me repeat that. In addition to prestigious accolades like Best Indie Game at the 2020 Game Awards. There's a word that doesn't go there, Kotaku. It's prestigious. There's nothing prestigious about the 2020 Game Awards or the 2019 Game Awards or the 2021 Game Awards. The Game Awards are not prestigious. Okay? Just saying. Just my 2 cents. Gotta get it in there.
I think the better word would be lucrative.
Yes.
Lucrative.
They're very lucrative for at least one person. Best Game Times 10 at 2020 Ari Notice Awards. Oh, of course, because it was written by Ari Notice. Hades just picked up top honors of today's online BAFTA Game Awards. Hell yeah, Hades. Okay. Here's a full list of nominees, blah, blah, blah. So if you're a fan of Hades, it got awards. It certainly got awards. And I'm a fan of Greek mythology, but I found that I'm not a fan of that type of gameplay of, go out and make a run, die, come back again. Not me. I just get bored very quickly. Not so much frustrated, just bored. Talk about GameStop. Former Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé, sorry, Reggie, I can't say your last name. I apologize. Leaving GameStop board of directors by Ethan Gash. We reported that he joined the board of directors last year, and now he's leaving. Serving on GameStop board of directors just one of longtime video games executive Reggie Fils-Aimé, post Nintendo of America pastime, but less than a year into the tenure, the company now expecting him to step down in June. It's one of eight other board members to be replaced at GameStop 2021 annual meeting of shareholders in the summer, including former CEO of Walmart, U.S. William Simon, and PetSmart president and current PetSmart CEO James Semanasic. According to the SEC filing earlier this year, turnover on the board may disrupt our operations, our strategic focus, or our ability to drive stockholder value, the company writes in the filing. We failed to attract and retain new skilled personnel for our board. Our business and growth aspects will disrupt our operations and have material adverse effects on our operations and business. You're dead man walking, GameStop. I don't think you can get more disruptive than that. The former head of Nintendo America, first name of GameStop board, and vice president with a nice paycheck attached to it last March, a year after announcing he would be retiring from a console manufacturer. That would be Nintendo. After 15 years of working there, the gaming industry needs a healthy, vibrant GameStop. He wrote on Twitter at the time, I look forward to being part of the board of directors and helping to make this happen. He didn't. TLDR, we saw this coming the moment it was announced, and now we have the confirmation. Sorry, Reggie. Well, you got your paycheck. I mean, how they managed to attract all those people in the first place? Because those are, we're talking about mucho dinero, having to get, the former CEO of Walmart to be on your, on your board. Yeah, you go like, hey, listen, we just have one of those seats that now they have to tape over in the malls where people get a massage. We got those, and we clean it every minute, so worried about COVID. That it probably takes a little more than that to entice a CEO or former CEO of a big multi-billion-dollar company like Walmart or Nintendo. Walmart is slightly bigger than Nintendo, but still.
They probably looked at this like, oof, no, this is a dumpster fire. Bail.
In the update on the Call of Duty news, because for some reason we're always talking about Call of Duty, even none of us play it. It's two of us over at PC Gamer. By Natalie Clayton, Call of Duty Warzone Zombies have chumbled their way to the bank. We'd like to make a deposit. We accept cash, card, and human flesh. Call of Duty Warzone Zombies are continuing their who are across Verdansk. After washing ashore and stumbling into the hospital, the horde has now arrived at Acropolis National Bank, and they're now interested in opening a savings account. The undead first. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. This is they're tracking the movement of the zombies in the game. How cute, PC Gamer. I thought actually that was financial news that people were, you
Oh,
know, I thought it was financial news. Like, oh, hey, yeah, this new expansion has made that you know, Activision has now made a quintillion million dollars this last second. Okay, no. For those who want to track the path of the zombies in Warzone, there's your link.
it's sort of like the news I think that Kotaku put out that about Shinra Electric Company tweeting and defending itself, which is mocking some tweets from Amazon,
Hmm.
our Lord and Savior here on Twitch.
So, back to GameStop. GameStop starts selling GPUs, graphic. Obviously doesn't have any GPUs to sell. By Jorge Jimenez 2 days ago on PC Gamer. Put your trading towards a new GPU, motherboard, or even TV. GameStop is in news again, but this time for doing something less exciting than throwing the stock market and our lives into chaos. The massive gaming retailer is adding PC gaming hardware to its online product catalog, which of course includes RTX 30 GPUs. And in case you're wondering, those two are sold out. Literally, as soon as full found out GameStop were selling GPUs, they were sold out in mere moments. Navigating the PC game page is a bit of a nightmare, but we've been smattering on non-GPU PC gaming products for sale, like pre-built system, monitors, even a couple of motherboards. NVIDIA Fly Financial was our first thing that the retailer was going to dive into the PC hardware market. GameStop's CEO George Sherman said that the company will expand its product offering with more PC gaming and consumer electronics in the earnings call. There's no warning their products will be exclusive to GameStop.com or offered limited quantities to physical stores. The news comes after GameStop reported a drop in net sales from 2.9 billion to 2.12 billion last year. Yeah, for a company that is doing so badly, apparently they're still making billions of dollars. What's their
Cha-ching.
operating margin? God damn it! I mean, they said these are the net sales, so it's after margins. Are we saying that GameStop? Everybody, are we wrong? Have we said, oh, GameStop's about to die, and they're making billions of dollars? Hmm.
It's because they're losing because they're not making all the money.
Uh, yeah, and that's net because if it were gross, I can understand that once you factor in, you know, all the things you have to have to factor in, then it would be bad. But this is net.
Hmm.
Hmm. Uh,
Well, I does that count any debt though? I would hope it would count their like debt and their monthly or yearly payments that they have to make on any debts that they might incur or owe the
I think
bank.
that's separate. I think that's
Okay, so
separate.
maybe
Yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah. That the
Because
company.
I've been from watching a company man on YouTube, like he mentions that a lot of it you can't just look at like nets and stuff. It's all about how much they're taking in net and then like the debts that they owe and if they're able to make payments.
Yeah. More Activision news. Activision orders Call of Duty stats site SBMM Warzone to shut down by Jonathan Boulding. The popular stat tracking site is appealing to Activision to negotiate the decision. A popular Call of Duty Warzone stats tracking website has been issued an order by lawyers representing Activision telling the Belgium-based site to shut down by the coming Monday, March 29th. The website creators have announced the impending closure of it in a tweet desperately asking them to reach out for a solution. For the creators of SBM Warzone, the letter claims that the SBM Warzone violates Activision's API terms of use and infringes Activision's copyright, among other violations of privacy laws in both the European Union and United States. Activision complaints seem primarily to be concerned with potential breach of privacy. The creators have reached out to Activision to try and meet a solution to start a partnership, but have not received response. Want to be able to talk to them. We believe that there's much more we can bring to this community. One of the site creators told Eurogamer. SBMM Warzone website reads data from public profiles as well as from players that opt into the site in order to aggregate and understand the opaque rating system Call of Duty uses to skill-based matchmaking. Warzone skill-based matchmaking has come under fire from the community in recent months, with some players even deliberately dying in order to play lower rank, more casual games. That is the problem right there. Because Activision doesn't give a shit about your privacy. That's the problem. It allows people to manipulate the matchmaking, and more importantly, probably takes the matchmaking control out of Activision hands. And we talked about 2 years ago how Activision had made a series of, what was it?
Patents.
Patents, yes, about including matchmaking and how to sell products to the people through the matchmaking process.
Yeah.
So
Essentially, it was nefarious. It's trying to set up people who don't buy microtransactions with people who do, so that they can see like, ooh, they're buying, and then kind of offering the microtransactions maybe after the match, like, hey, that person has that rifle over there. Like, wouldn't you like to buy that same rifle too?
And in continuing, BioWare's Death Watch. Anthem director leaves BioWare by Andy Shaw 2 days ago. Jonathan Warner, this is on PC Gamer. Jonathan Warner was with BioWare for nearly a decade. February, Electronic Arts finally pulled the plug on BioWare's big bust third-person shooter Anthem, declaring that not everything we have planned as a studio before COVID-19 can be accomplished without putting undue stress on our teams. Like that has stopped you before. With his fate, I'm not advocating for crunch, by the way. Just saying that sounds pretty dubious. With the face seal, and I'm gonna have to blow my nose. Excuse me.
So today's my last day at BioWare. I'm moving on to do new things, which is what they all say.
Yeah, BioWare has been home to my grateful heart for nearly 10 years, and I want to wish them all the best. Dragon Age, Mass Effect, and SWTOR are in good hands, and I can't wait for them to play this side of the screen. Along with Warner, Anthem is credited with game director as Mass Effect Andromeda. Okay. And as producer of Mass Effect for the Mass Effect trilogy and Mass Effect 3 Citadel. And his LinkedIn page also lists him as a BioWare chief of staff position he held since 2019. Prior to joining the studio, he was producer of the Walt Disney Company and a test lead for Microsoft Game Studios. Wow, a test lead. I guess that didn't transfer to Andromeda. For some reason. But significant hype, remember the Neil Blomkamp short film and emoticon pre-release promise. Anthem was a tremendous disappointment and launch. Also, we all know that part. So, yeah. That's pretty interesting. Another one jumps from the boat from BioWare's sinking ship. Apparently. So let me give a review to our Discord. If you wish to join the Discord, you can do so by just putting a request on the thing. So let's look at our Discord and see if there are any news that we have missed.
Hey, did you guys? Sorry, I think my internet might have had a hiccup right now.
Let me see. Oh, you seem fine on this area. So.
There we go. I should have stabilized them. My connection's a bit wonky. Our internet's been pretty bad lately.
Yeah. We done all these news, so let's do that. So let's go to our talk of the week. Actually, we have unlike many times, we actually have a half an hour to discuss to hammer this topic. So let's get to it. Yeah. Today, I come to you to advocate to having more games, especially single-player games, be completely offline. Why is that? Well, let's go back to that news about, a company that knows everything about what you do, including whether you cheated or not on their demo. The idea of being surveilled that way, that deeply, keep all those stats.
Yeah.
I always found it creepy. Like, you don't need to know that. I mean, they feel the need to know that so they can sell us the products better. But to me, I feel like, no, you don't need to know that. You don't need to know if I cheated in a single player game, right? Why would that be a thing?
Let's say I can only picture EA watching me play games with playing Mass Effect with all the mods that I have installed.
Yeah. Or, for example, Crash Bandicoot 4, a game with no online features, was unplayable when Blizzard's login service went down.
Oh yeah, that. And of course, let's not forget all the other instances like the SimCity, Diablo. Like you can't play the single player part of Diablo without
Yeah,
logging in first.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's unnecessary, and we know, and now we know why. There's only one reason why they do it. They want to keep track of what you're doing. Which it's. I mean, I'm a streamer, so I put a lot of the stuff I'm doing on stream, but I choose to do so, right? I choose to do, and you too, by the way, people know Chapamon is now an affiliate, so please go and visit him. We choose when we're going to be online and present our games, etc., and when we start switch them off, right? So
Yep.
maybe have a little consideration on that part because it's creepy. It's if there's so many things that can go wrong. Cable, we just had the thing where internet was like, ooh, you know, all that kind of stuff, and it also prevents. I mean, back in the day when Rockstar North had to fight with was it THQ, their boss company, that said no, we don't want mods in the single player game, right? So how do they know that, and how could they ban them? Because when you play GTA 5, you are always online, even though you're playing the single player. So they noticed that people were using mods. And why didn't want they do the mods? Because those mods gave access to people to things in the single player that were only available in the multiplayer. So you wanted to, if essentially, GTA is a great example because GTA, and now going back to my experience with GTA 5, I always felt that, yeah, the world was much improved, but it felt kind of empty and linear. Right? They had the story, which had its strong parts and its weak parts, but it's very linear. I played the game and I was done, and I didn't want to go back again. Where when I was playing San Andreas, I would always pop in for like 5, 10, 15 minutes, and like I would just drive around. Like, I'm bored. I get in the
Pew
Xbox
pew.
and just drive around, listen to the music, right? And for 15 minutes, whatever. And then it's like, okay, I'm done. And just to have
Yeah,
that sort of serotonin hit. But I never gone back to GTA 5 or GTA 4.
hmm. Well, part of that might be because we have more games that take our attention
Yeah, but I'm
nowadays too,
I'm
especially
the
more open sand ones too.
yeah,
But
true, but I'm the guy who put over 3,000 hours, not counting Xbox playing in the new version of newer version of Skyrim in Skyrim. So
yeah,
if I really like something, especially an open world game, which I kind of
yeah,
immerse myself,
that's
I will do so. But and that's one of the things I love about GTA games, especially started with particularly with Vice City, and then later on with San Andreas. They were places I wanted to just be in, like just hang around, like just
yeah.
walk around, and there was a camera mode in San Andreas and take pictures. Actually, you could share them on the net and stuff like that. Uh, you know, so I wanted to do that, but now I don't because all the stuff is in multiplayer, and I don't want to go into multiplayer just to get ganked by someone who's just driving badly or something, right? Uh, I don't care. I don't care for it, and all that stuff you have to pay extra. I have to pay extra just because. So I'm not interested in that at all. And
well, I mean, the only thing is, yeah, like mods can help you. I'm watching another streamer on um here on Twitch. She goes by Creeping Darkness. She does this really fun stream um with Grand Theft Auto 5 called the Chaos mod. So it lets you it adds like a chat interaction with the game in terms of the game will throw up a voting thing of like which random effect should I put next to either help or torture the streamer.
mm-hmm.
It leads to hilarious results. But yeah, like that would especially like when it's like why do you guys need to know what I'm doing like that, like in terms of playing this game? It's like, oh, you're playing it with mods, huh?
Hmm.
What are you, a filthy cheater that you're gonna, oh, you're willing to mod the single player game? That means you must be willing to mod the multiplayer game they have no interest in playing.
Well, no, actually, what they felt was that people would not so much mod the multiplayer games, is that people would go to the single player game and play that with the mods
Oh,
without having to pay for the microtransactions in GTA multiplayer. Because GTA
hmm.
multiplayer exists just for the microtransactions. It's become the most profitable game that has ever been launched because the ships, the cars,
Oh,
everything you have
so
to either
essentially
grind to it.
having access to assets that are they're exclusive, they're supposed to be exclusive to the multiplayer, but
Hmm.
it's like, oh, you got to earn that or pay for it to be able to ride around in this fancy car that would be locked off otherwise.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's
so it's just like that, and there's so many other problems with it. I mean, you have surveillance. You have the fact that servers can go down. For example, if you're doing like daisy chain, like if you're gonna do one of the reasons why I don't play Ubisoft games besides the rapey content, let's be honest, is that you have to connect. If you buy it on Steam, you have to connect to Steam, so then you connect to Ubisoft to to get the whole rigmarole. So if any point of failure over Ubisoft or at Steam, you lose. And if you go to the Ubisoft store, the Ubisoft store and clients suck. They're not very reliable anyway. So yeah, I can't play my single player game because your client is just stupid. It won't let me, right? Um, we had a closure of a store for indie games with no DRM, so that means that all those games, usually, if you now buy them again through Steam, I prefer you. If it indie games go GOG is much better because they're still DRM free. You can do that, but even then, a lot of even DRM games do not necessarily mean that
they
that
don't
they're
connect to
that they still have to be online. So that's not really a thing. Also, we talked about the anti-cheat software, right? Anti-cheat software and DRM, anti-cheat software, stuff like that. Almost all of them require, or they're required for you to be always online because they're always checking. Anti-cheat basically checks your copy in the most simple way possible. Anti-cheat software and DRM software checks your copy versus their version of the software they have to see in the server. And if something changes, they're like, "Aha, gotcha, you're cheating," right? Like a mod, for example. But then that same game, the same software can ruin your experience. And many games have crashed. I think there was a big thing a couple of years ago about that anti-cheat software ruins games. Uh, ID Software ruined Doom Eternal with anti-cheat
hmm.
software. Uh, I get the anti-cheat. I mean, this is from CNN. Doom Eternal's awful anti-cheat software can wreck your computer. I said that it couldn't, but actually it has been cases. Then players who update the game will have a nasty surprise to waiting for them for the next time they boot up their system. But has snuck a de novo anti-cheat into the game, making thousands of systems potentially vulnerable. Its software runs at high trust level users' PCs, allowing access to system function and hardware commands, while the software carries potential risks. This level of access and unnecessary security risk. Cheaters, I mean, nobody likes cheaters, except other cheaters, I suppose, or themselves when they look themselves in the mirror. But aside from that, everyone else doesn't need this. The risk at times outweigh the potential reward, right? Um, I mean, there's so much stuff that it's just, and also one of the things I wanted to say was what happens when the game no longer gets supported.
Yep, like the potentially the PlayStation Store with all
Yeah.
my many copies of games that I've purchased over the years.
Mm-hmm. And even with Microsoft wants to make everything streaming, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what happens if they delist a game? That means you lose it across all platforms, right? Unless you saved it, unless you have a platform that had a hard disk that you saved it. But then it has to check on online, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that was the
especially if
thing.
it's one of those.
That was one of the problems that people were mocking uh, Microsoft for when they released the last generation of hardware, right? It was like, you have to be online. People were like, why? You know? And
And
Sony pulled the, let me give you a disc. This is how we share games on your
and
PlayStation.
now,
And
yeah, again, they were way ahead. They were a little too ahead of the times there because I think now most days people wouldn't care, even though
yeah,
it's
they don't
still
care.
the same problem. Look at right now what happened. My internet's so stable, especially right now during the pandemic. A lot of places, um, I was hearing my husband having a conversation with another a friend from Brazil. She
Mhm.
was saying that like their internet's like is really good because they have competition. Unlike here in the United States, where there is no competition, you get my choices in my local area is cable internet from one single company or DSL, which is not acceptable for what I want it to use for streaming and stuff. So
Mhm.
I only have one real choice. I mean, there's satellite, but I don't think that's also I've also heard that has high latency issues. So
Yeah.
no.
Mhm. I mean, there is no need for it. It makes for more it gets one layer of complexity to video games that they don't require, right? It might just cost a couple of $1,000s, but usually if you're subscribing just with some other company like Denuvo, they're gonna charge you a lot of money
Mhm.
upfront. I mean, they might charge you per unit, they might charge you a blanket contract, but they're not gonna say, "Oh, give me $1,000 and we're done." They're gonna charge you millions of dollars, which that's how they make a profit. Which means for the license, and they have to renew the license every year or so. That's also going to be seen in the price of games, which are now moving to the $70 floor, not not upper limit, but floor for new AAA or even quad A games. I mean, is it so bad just to have a toggle? Like you want to be on the game, not even on Steam. Like, oh, Steam has an
Well,
offline feature, but Steam's online feature it's kind of crappy at times. Sometimes you just can't play the game, period, because you can't access it. So it
yeah,
doesn't matter.
and it's even there's even like some small annoying things with it. Like I remember like Mass Effect 2, like it always tries to check online to like put up a little news story and stuff and connect with like the server's network. Like that it takes it like a minute if it can't connect right away. And even then
Hmm.
when it does, like has to connect to it and download information and do whatever handshaking it needs to do before you just place, yeah, look, stuff like here's some news, or oh, we can't seem to connect. That's okay, but that still eats up so much unnecessary time from the title screen to the main menu screen where I can hit start.
Yeah, and we were talking about this. I think I mentioned it, and we just mentioned it. The Mass Effect 3 demo, the thing that Electronic Arts and BioWare made to make you buy the game, to encourage you to buy the game, right? You have to go online. Okay, maybe they want to go like us. They want to make sure how many people, just want to check how many people download the demo.
Mhm.
Fine, you have to connect to the server. They want to do that. But it's not first of all, it's not a one-time check. Well, it seems to be one-time check, but then something happened with the demo that even though it wasn't, it's still I think on Origins, in the Origin store, um, they got it delisted, so you had to do a workaround to fool the demo into thinking that it had connected, or fool the server and that it was connected in order to play the demo. You know, yeah, and this is the thing that you made in order to encourage me to buy your game, the full game.
Yeah, and I think part of it, if I recall, you get like a I feel like you get some DLC or something either in Mass Effect or another EA game for
Mm-hmm.
playing the demo because I believe the demo of Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning had something like that. If you played the demo, you get like I think deal like a special armor for either Mass Effect 2 or 3, one of the
I
two
think it must have
games.
been three. Yeah.
Yeah,
There was a special chakram, I think it was, weapon in
yeah, the opposite. If you either play the demo or bought Mass Effect 3, you get like some special gear and a
in
special
the other one,
weapon.
yeah, which wasn't that great, but it's part of the collection, right? And again, and then how many times have we heard all these features and it's like 5 years later, like, yeah, we're just gonna give it to you because it's we don't need that, we don't need this anymore, we're not supporting this, so hey, free stuff. It's like, oh yeah, so I had to buy it. And and also they want to know where you bought it from, if you got the code from GameStop, if anybody buys anything from GameStop anymore. Well, at 2.12 billion dollars a year, I think people are still buying stuff from GameStop, and stuff like that, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would make it that it got to the point, I think it would be a selling point to say this game is fully offline. Right? It would be a selling point. It's like, yeah, no, don't worry about, we're not tracking you. This is a game, it's offline and stuff like that. So
Well, I mean, even nowadays too, like just putting if I get like a physical disc, the first thing I'm prompted, it's like, oh hey, there's a new version of this game.
yeah.
And of course, the thing is too, physical media is also not a good substitute. I learned from playing all Black Sad,
Hmm.
considering that the physical copy I have has a version 1.00, which is completely unplayable, like literally unplayable. You cannot beat the game with this version of the game. It's completely broken. And so you need to connect to the internet to download the day one patch. The game also launched early one time digitally. It launched early digitally. The developer pretty much begged you not to, those people who managed to buy it before it got, I think it might have either gotten taken down or it stayed up. Uh, Thank you for buying the game. Please don't play it until the day one patch is ready. When the game was supposed to launch, the day one patch would have been ready.
That brings another point. Is like, I think the reason why these games always have to be online is particularly is that becomes at launch and even later, games are launched incomplete. And so people who play the version they're given, like Black Sat, they're like, this game doesn't work. Like, well, it only would work if you would have the patches, and so those patches will roll in. That's another thing as well. It's like every time I connect, it's like, oh, downloading this patch. That happens a lot with Cyberpunk 2020, 2077. I haven't played it in a while, but every time I go to GOG for something else, like downloading a patch for 2077. I'm like, why?
Like 70 gigabytes of the
Yeah,
patch.
right. It's ridiculous, right? And with streaming, I think it's going to get worse because by definition, streaming is always online, right? Um, I don't know. I mean, at least I would say I would encourage indie gamers, indie players, and developers to start thinking of not only DRM. Some who are saying, "Oh, this is DRM free" as a selling point, but also pure offline. And they, for example, the SKUs that they're tracking, what to your data, so they know how best to sell to you. I don't think there's actually, aside from, I guess, microtransactions, it doesn't
Something.
reflect itself on game sales. But against, I guess nowadays the idea is that the game is just an access to get you hooked in, so you're always hooked into the idea of playing the game. So they sell you microtransactions and all kinds of garbage. So yeah. I mean, how can they give you those power cards or the lottery numbers or whatever the hell they're doing these days as a
Your
mechanism?
your your uh daily check-in
Hmm.
bonuses or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time, I think there still is, that when you play World of Warcraft would have something say, "Hey, we see that you're playing too much. Maybe you should take a break. We'll give you
Mhm.
XP if you actually don't play this game." How about that? Not
Yeah, you get
anymore.
you get a rest bonus
Yeah,
if you stayed if you logged off offline in a city or like a village or somewhere, like
yeah.
somewhere that's be considered safe, your character
Hmm.
rests so that next time you log in, yeah, your character has like this experience boost. Again, gains extra experience for X amount of experience.
Yeah, they got a little bar, and anything you kill in the next 5 minutes, something like that, it gets more experience, so you can level up faster. If you're not, maxed out level, of course. So it's stuff like that, right? Not anymore. I mean, I think this is it's legacy in World of Warcraft, so probably they had never changed those splash screens, but loading screens. But still, it's like, can we go back to that? And that was in an online game. That's an MMO. Imagine that in a single player game. Like, yeah, enjoy it. Um, and also, it also encourages stuff like Bethesda's trying to push their selling, selling the not DLC but mods. So you have to go through
Oh
them to
yeah.
get the latest mods. They could easily simply say, "Oh no, we're locking this thing down, remotely," just like THQ try to do, and won't allow you to mod. Even though essentially mods just allows you to make their games playable. Which, you know what I mean? It's like they're like, we make incomplete games, which are messy and at times complete failures when they launch, like Fallout 76. And the only real way you can play them is through mods, but we want you to buy the mods from us. So we're going to block you from. See what I'm getting at? This is way. I mean, I think it's the an expression of the idea that video game companies believe that you're not buying games, you're buying access, so they can do whatever, right? It's like, oh, if you're gonna be, it's like again the OC allusion that I make to an amusement park. Oh, you want to be safe in the amusement park? Then yes, you're gonna have these cameras always looking at you and security everywhere, stuff like that, because we want you to be safe, right? And here's like, oh, we're gonna have all these tracking things in your software while you're online because we want to know what you like so we can cater better to you,
Yeah.
right?
Or well, yeah, it's I think we've also talked about how like sometimes it has statistics too about like, oh, how many people chose to make, use these like customize their characters in certain ways and use certain options, play certain play style.
That was Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. I
Like,
think Mass Effect has that too.
yeah, oh yeah, how many
Mass
people
Effect
did?
3.
Actually, the entire series, I think, had at least Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3 had how many people played as FemChep versus how many people played as MChep, which is okay. But what it really really pissed me off was, I think it's part of the sort of they try to shame people for playing a generic white dude in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if you thought that was a bad idea, and your artistic vision didn't foresee for you playing a white, pasty white, uh,
Human.
human
Male.
and male fighter in a D&D game, then you should have created a character for the players, and the players would have played the game or not, right? But you put character creation, and it's just it feels icky because I suck at character creation. I try to create other characters, and the best I can do is kind of maybe change the tint tone. I try to play characters that are a little darker than mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Not. But the moment I get to noses and ears, and I just mess them up, right? And it's like So I try to go with what you have. So
Yeah.
usually I change eye color because I prefer like I'm a brown eye guy, so which many
Yep.
people are. Greens and blues or yellows because they're they're catchy, and try to darken the skin because at least these people are outdoors and they would have a tan, right? So we get a little more realistic. But everything else, it's standard. And playing a fighter in a game like that, usually it's because that's the class that is assigned to you to be easy entry, right? So you're shaming people for playing the game the way you put the game to be played. It's like, it's a joke. It's like, you can, I don't know. Maybe it's this deep delve of remnant racism in the pit of my stomach, of my blackened soul that is speaking out. And if it is, I'll have to come to terms with it. But at the same time, just still feel uncomfortable with it. Because it's just, you want to have a, I don't, I don't want to sound like this. People say, well, you want to have a character like this. Why you don't make a character like that? Oh my God. It's like, but it kind of feels that way. You want to, you want to put people to play like a 20-foot tall teddy bear that shoots lasers out of his eyes. Then make the character a 20-foot teddy bear that shoots lasers out his eyes, and people either play it or they don't. Right? It's I don't know. Maybe I am making too much of it, but still, it makes me. I am uncomfortable with the whole situation. Right? It's just, and it's the at least from the consumer point of view how unnecessary it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't help me in one bit. You're not really tailoring games to me or anything like that. I mean, the best I get is a queue from Steam saying, "Oh, you play games like this. Would you like to know more?" It's like, yeah, sure, whatever. That's about it. So you're keeping all this data. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any benefit from it. All I see are problems. And my rule is, if it doesn't help, take it out. Right? I mean, you don't need it. You don't need it. If you don't need it, don't put it there.
Well, especially since considering the issues it brings up too with connectivity and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You actually might see more of that as more and more nations basically say, we don't like microtransactions, and they start banning them or trying to modify them in some way and sort of take the edge out of them. You might see some software developer goes like, oh, don't worry about it. We don't have microtransactions, and in fact, we go so far as to be a completely offline game, so you don't have to worry about it. But we shall see. Maybe we're just pining for the good old days, which we are. Because 10 years ago, the 3DS launched. And yes, you're that old. So, Chapelmon, where can we find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at Chapelmon pretty much everywhere. I am Chapelmon _ here on Twitch and Twitter. Most of my content gets re-uploaded over on my YouTube channel. Just search Chapelmon.
Mm-hmm. And you can find me here when I can make the time to continue to stream Yakuza 4. Of course, we do the podcast on Sundays, and later on today at 6 o'clock today, Eastern, I'll be over at Raktus channel. That's RAKTUS, where I'm running a D&D 5th edition game, Greyhawk into the Wildlands, Wild Coast. So join the brave adventurers exploring the wilderness, facing monsters, and just making an ass out of themselves, because that's what D&D players do online. So thank you everybody for coming, and as always, we'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hi.